Fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.
Let me start with that. Hi. Welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm your host, Rosemary LaChance, a spiritual healer, advisor, and teacher.
Hi, and I'm Carla Augustin, a spiritual teacher and your co-host for tonight.
Tonight we are continuing our Life Explained series, which will give you food for thought information about spirituality based on the teachings of Hans Wilhelm. From his Life Explained series, we will play one or two different DVDs and then have dialogue about it. We encourage you to call or email us or write to NHTV with your questions, and we will answer them on the show or privately if you prefer. This is not a religious show, and no matter what religion or belief you follow, the information we give you will only enhance your beliefs. We do not try to convince you of anything. This series is recorded and will be shown in your area on your local public service cable network. Please contact them for dates and times.
And if you have a group that you think would be interested in what we have to offer, we're available to come to your group and teach from this series. We will give you our contact information at the end of the show. Please visit Rosemary's or Hans's website, where you will find a wealth of information about our show and the series. Our shows are now available for you to watch on YouTube for free. Just go on YouTube and type in Healing Outside the Box to make your choices. We're constantly adding new shows, so keep checking back. We're also on Facebook under Healing Outside the Box. Please like our page for the latest information about our show. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Okay, tonight is our 228th show, and the titles are Immortality and the Anger Trap. And the first one we're going to play is Immortality, and then we will have dialogue about it.
You have surely heard this before. You and I are spiritual beings who are having a human experience. As spiritual beings, we are immortal or eternal, infinite beings. But when we walk here on earth, our time here is limited. Modern medicine is trying hard to find a cure against this limitation, also called death. Theoretically, our bodies could live forever, since all cells are continuously replaced with new ones. The body you and I are having today is almost totally new compared to the ones we had only a year ago. Almost every cell has been replaced with new ones. Scientists assume that the answer why our body finally breaks down lies somewhere in our genes, and once they have found that gene, they are able to fix it, and then we could live forever. At least that's what they're hoping to do. But do we really want to extend our lives here on earth by a much longer period, like a couple of hundreds of years? Anybody who thinks that this would be a wonderful idea has not really considered the purpose or gift that a natural death offers to each of us. Yes, I did say that death is a gift, because without the physical death of our earthly life, our higher spiritual evolution may be doomed. Allow me to explain. In the spiritual world, as souls, we do not have a material body of flesh and bones. Our bodies are ethereal, and by any vibration of every thought, emotion, and feeling is immediately visible to everyone around us. There is no ways to hide anything from anybody. There are no secrets, no deceptions. But when we incarnate here on earth, we are having a material body of flesh and bones. And this body is just like a diving suit for our soul to survive in the dense vibration of the material world. Whenever this diving suit breaks down or gets damaged beyond repair, we return to the spiritual realms. This is what the world calls death. Without our material body, the vibrations of all our thoughts, feelings, emotions, habits, vices, and so on are fully visible to everyone. But the moment we enter a material body, we can hide all our secret thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Our physical body can conceal whatever goes on within us. Outwardly, we may be smiling to others, but inwardly judging or even hating them. Others will not see our deceit, neither will we, because the law of sowing and reaping often takes a long, long time before we see the effects of the harm that we have done to others and ourselves. A person can live for a very long time in a state of relative comfort and well-being, but keeps burdening himself with more and more negative karma through his thoughts and actions. All these negative impulses are stored in our soul, our subconscious, in the depository planets, and also in the body itself. Our physical body conceals our all-too-human aspects, not only from others, but most of all from ourselves. If we keep ignoring our conscience, we keep loading more and more negative karma onto our soul and body. But the Divine Source has given us a magnificent tool that allows us to find out who we are in truth, and that tool is called death. Once the soul has separated from the physical body, it once again is quote naked, and its vibrations show all the world the words and thoughts and passionate actions that we have stored in our soul. We have heard this before, that after death some souls see their past lives in some kind of a movie strip. These soul pictures show us who we are in truth. Gabriele von Würzburg says in her book Everybody Dies for Himself that death is the way to ourselves. End of quote. If we would not die and have these periodical self-examinations of our soul between earthly lives, we could keep on burdening ourselves to an unimaginable extent from which it would be more increasingly difficult to free ourselves. Thus, the physical death is an act of grace or love, and not a mysterious act by God, as some religious leaders try to explain it. Death gives us the opportunity to look into a clear mirror and see who we truly are and what we still have to clear up, and to return to our original state of magnificence and divinity. It is an incredible tool that can protect us from straying off the right path for too long. In his story of The Picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde explains this process beautifully. In spite of his destructive lifestyle of crime and even murder, Dorian Gray's physical appearances does not change. Staying always young and handsome, he fools everybody around him, most of all himself. But his portrait that he hides in his attic shows all the signs of his transgressions. It becomes grotesque and horrendous, as it records every deed, passion, and crime he commits. In a climactic ending, Dorian Gray eventually faces his distorted portrait, which is his soul, with his earthly death. But we don't have to wait until we die to see where we stand. Every day we are given impulses that show us what we still have to clear up, what we still have not yet loved. Listening to our conscience, observing the signs that life gives us, and taking every opportunity to clear up any binding or negative relationship through forgiveness and asking for forgiveness, that will help us. And every day is filled with opportunities to make amends, adjust our direction, and listen more carefully to our inner guidance. And when we see death as a loving opportunity for complete self-examination and adjustment, we may want to bury our desire for eternal life here on earth and rather gratefully accept physical death as a stepping stone to a magnificent eternal life in the spiritual realms of the divine. Thank you for watching.
Okay, Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now you're
it
going to
is.
get me with those questions. She asked such wonderful questions.
Well, I'll start slow, but
Okay.
but I do love how he reminds us that we are really spiritual beings having a human experience, and I think it's a nice reminder that if we really do believe that life is eternal, and so once we leave this realm, and we no longer have our physical bodies, and we go, but we still live forever. So
Right.
I started thinking about it when I watched this show, and I thought if we really did embrace that, that life's eternal and this isn't, like, would we really waste time worrying and getting upset and feeling, do you know what I mean? Would we
Yeah.
waste that kind of time
You're right.
complaining and just wasting time with negativity if we realize, hey, we're just here for an experience. It's pretty brief, considering all eternity. So why waste a minute worrying and, complaining and being negative? And
Wouldn't it be a wonderful world if we
It
didn't
would-
do that? What a wonderful world that would
yeah,
be.
right.
Because
right,
we're vain, egotistical
right,
beings.
Right, right.
So we waste a lot of time.
We don't think
probably
about it.
more than half of our life thinking about that, worrying about that.
Worrying about it. I'm worrying about dying. How many people worry
Oh,
about
yeah.
dying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Or getting older,
Yeah.
just aging.
Yeah.
People worry about. All right, so our cells are always replacing. So the body today is different than the body a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our cells are always replacing. So this is real science, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why do we age? I mean, do the cells just stop replacing? Do they stop growing? Do they get damaged? Do they slow down? Like, I wonder why we scientifically, why do we age?
Well, logically, it's going to wear out sooner or later.
The body.
Yeah, I mean, you can just for so long, but geez, I know people. There's this man, I run into him every once in a while in the supermarket. He used to come into my health food store, and we had long talks, and he started taking lots of vitamins, and he eat healthy and all that. So I ran into him in the store. He told me he's 95 years old, or maybe even 97. I forgot. He doesn't look a day different than he does when he was in my store.
Wow.
And that was like in the 90s.
Wow.
So how many years ago was that? 20 years?
Right, like 20 years ago.
He looks fantastic. I said, oh my God, look at you. And
What did he say what his secret was?
yeah, he said, what you taught me about the vitamins is what he said. So I said to myself, you know what? Next time I run into him, I was in there and I didn't have my purse. I just had my wallet. And I said, next time I meet him, I'm going to ask him to come on the show.
Oh, good.
I want everybody to
that'd be
see
great.
him, and he can talk about his lifestyle.
Oh,
and,
I love that.
And I want people to see what he looks like and what he did,
Yeah.
and he's got a good outlook. I mean, he's amazing. So to go back to your question, I think a lot of it is how we think in our minds, what kind of people we are. That we age. Some people age faster than other people. It's got to do with genetics too.
Sure.
But I mean, it's like I never followed anybody, one person except myself, to say, well, okay, how are they aging and this and that. But I noticed that people who don't have a pleasant outlook, who don't,
They wear it.
yeah,
They
don't their
they wear it on their
spirituality,
face,
their spirituality is very small. That they do age quicker. They do. Even Spirit told us, from the Universal Spirit that I go with, they said all the pleasant outlooks and the loving and the caring, all the things we teach you, it'll keep you younger looking, he said, and we know how much you people love that. And then he started to laugh, and we all laughed, and he said, see, we have a sense of humor too. But he was right.
Yeah.
It does show on your face after a while. Just like people who do drugs and stuff, you see how they age. Oh my God,
Right,
And of
right.
course, if you have illness, you age. But my big thing was people who have things like cancer and they take all those drugs and everything. If we're renewing ourselves, why don't we just do natural things, boost our immune system up, eat healthy, do all that stuff, but when they renew, it'll be gone. But chemo and radiation kills
Right.
cells too, so they're not going to renew.
Right.
That's a thing I've always thought about. I don't know if that will work or
thought
not, but
about
it's
that,
always
but-
been in my mind. If we renew like that, why put that poison and kill the cells? Then you can't renew. You know, you can't get any new cells. To just kill that old and hang around until you run out of cells.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know about that, but
Well, you know, he said that scientists assume, I thought that was a big word.
yeah, it is a big word.
assume
You know what assume means,
that
right?
yeah, so exactly. So that the answer is that they can figure out that our body finally breaks down, lies somewhere in our genes. And once they can fix that, whatever they find, then we could theoretically live forever. But we don't really know if that's scientifically true. We don't know
Never
if it's
happened.
because of the gene. We don't know even if they fixed it that we would and something else wouldn't happen, right? I don't believe, I think that's sci-fi. I just don't
Yeah.
believe we are meant to be here
No.
forever.
We're not.
You know, I mean, what, 200 years, 300 years, 400, like what? Like
And you know what?
nobody else overpopulating our planet?
I'd be tired.
you
I don't
know,
want to be around
so-
here forever. I
Right.
need a break. You know? Oh my God. That's me personally.
Right.
I need a break.
Right.
But to be here forever, I think they could take.
Like why? Yeah.
Why do you want to live forever? Maybe if you're rich and your life is fantastic, but you have to live forever young. You don't want to live forever old.
Right. That's the thing. You're going to keep getting older.
Yeah.
So do you want to be 150 and even if you have the money and the resources, even if you got still bouncing your step, do you really want to be here?
I know. There are a lot of people going to say yes, 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 because they're afraid of death and because a lot of people think that's the end of everything and so forth and so on. I don't feel that way at all about death. So for me, it's like, okay, time to go
Yeah.
bye-bye now, you know?
Right.
But I don't even think scientists can do that. They can clone. That's starting to clone.
They're cloning. Yeah,
No,
they can
that's
do that.
really bad, really
Right.
bad.
Right.
Against, the scientists try to play God. That's what they want to
Yeah,
do. They try. Now, I read something that were they putting human cells into monkeys. Boy, that's
Boy,
terrible.
yeah, I know.
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
I know
terrible.
what's
I
going
know,
on with
I
that.
know.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's more things that go on in the dark of night, Horatio, than we've ever thought about. You ever hear that saying? That
right.
they do things that we don't even know about.
No.
And
I know
it's
the
horrible.
experimenting
Yeah.
that goes on, and the
They must create some monsters. I don't know.
that we don't know about.
I know.
I mean that the experimenting that goes on is
know.
like very frightening when you
Yeah.
read about that. Yeah.
So I mean, you need that break. You need to go back home. You need to do your life review. You need to see what you did wrong. You need to get things corrected. You need to change your scenario so when you come back you can do it better. If you're in the same scenario for hundreds of years, what are you ever going to change?
Right.
And they're saying, well, I don't want to change everything. Everything's perfect for me. But there'll come a day when it won't be perfect.
Well, let's talk
Even
about that a little bit because I do like, it's interesting how he says death is a gift. So we can return home and basically see how we're doing. It's like a pause button, right?
Yeah.
So we can go home, we can see how we're doing. And he said if we keep living, and you just mentioned this, we can keep burdening ourselves even with more karma. You sort of alluded to this. So what's he mean by that? You can burden yourself. If we kept living, then we
Yeah.
keep getting more karma. So what's he mean by that?
Because when we go home, it's when we see what we did right and wrong. We see
Right.
what's really right and wrong. We lose track of it here. So when we see that, we notice it, and we're going to stay on that wrong path for another 50 or 100 years. You keep burdening yourself more and more and more. When are you ever
If you're
going
on the wrong path.
Yeah.
Right.
When are you ever going to learn? And even if you're on the right path, you won't want to stay here.
Yeah,
because
that's a good point.
Earth
I didn't
is not.
think about that. I
People
didn't think about that.
People think this is the greatest place to be, but it's not. I mean, this is gray compared to the finer heavens and everything. This is not. But they can't imagine that. I know so many people cannot imagine that. So
Well, that's why I mean, I did, before we touch on that, I was wondering, I mean, is it a pessimistic view, not believing in humankind, that if we lived longer, that we couldn't really clear up some of our energy, some of our karma, not necessarily create more karma. So say you have, kind of embarked on the spiritual path, and you're working on things, working on being just a better person, feeling good about yourself, finding the truth of who you are, and all of that we talk about. What if you sort of get it? What if you do become conscious? Couldn't it be that if you lived longer, that you would actually, get rid of some karma? You'd be able to have that opportunity to actually get rid of karma. Not necessarily keep creating more karma, but get rid of some. Just because you have the wisdom. I mean, that's what age gives you, hopefully.
I know, and you make a good argument about that. But if we have a certain amount of time we planned to come here.
Right.
We knew how long we were going to be here, and we needed to get it done in a certain amount of time. I think that God in His wisdom knows that that's enough.
I do too.
You've done so much. You've done this good and this bad. You're not seeing it, and you're not going to wake up. We think that we might wake up, but we don't.
Right.
Even if we wake up at the end, that's great too, because we've already reduced a lot of things, So the idea is to get on the bus and go to the place where you can wake up and see what's wrong. Because people know when they're doing wrong things.
Sure.
Not everybody, but I would say probably 3/4 of the people on this planet know what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
And then you can change it. When you know what you're doing and you don't change it, that's a bigger sin.
Right.
Up there with the fact that when you lead other people astray is a big one, But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even with science, say science develops, don't we decide before we even come how long we're going to be here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So who cares what science does, really?
Right.
I mean, when you think about it, who cares, right?
Because people are vain and egotistical, and they want to stay. And now they have these, facelifts and body lifts, and oh my God,
So they're buying into it, forgetting what they thought when they were on the other side.
Yeah. Like I saw, who was it, Jane Fonda? She's 80 years old. She was in that movie recently with the other 3 comedians. She looked fantastic. She probably wouldn't mind going on, But how much longer can you stretch the skin and the body?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And why is that so important?
And why though?
Yeah,
if you're aging, if you're in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, why don't you want to look like that?
I know.
I mean, why?
Vanity, Vanity is unbelievable. Our vanity is unbelievable. But you can just do so much with the body. You can just do so much, and then it's. I mean,
I do agree with you. I think God and His wisdom said, hey, average 80 years, it's enough. You know what I mean? It's just enough. Like, go do what you have to do. It's a pretty harsh place. And then come home and let's talk. Let's review.
Yeah, let's review.
Yeah.
I have read where if your time is up, so to speak, and you are doing really good, all of a sudden you woke up, your life can be extended for a short time. Not a whole long, another 100 years, but a short time.
For a short time.
While you're getting. The same as if your life is, if you're going down the wrong path, if you're picking up new karma that's really bad,
they'll take you.
Your life will be shortened.
They'll take you,
yeah,
sure.
One way or the other,
right.
It can happen.
Right.
So those are the exceptions that it can happen like that,
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Some people are taken before their time because of that reason, and others are
because they're adding up too much karma,
too much.
and then they're not going to be happy when they get to the other side eventually.
And how much you're
so
going to
it takes
do?
them
I mean, I don't know. Don't you people get tired of the same thing day in and day out, day in and day out? Even if you can have all the riches and do all the things, there's going to be a point when you're going to be so tired of it. You could probably go out of your mind. How much can I gamble? How much good food can I eat? How many trips I can take? I've been all over the world and back.
Right, things start to repeat.
Yeah.
Well, but it starts kind of slowly. It's like, we just did a renovation, and I'm just getting rid of things. Whereas, when we started out over 35 years ago, I couldn't wait to accumulate things.
Right.
So it's just what happens with life. It's like it does become a little bit been there, done that. I think some people get stuck in the past. But I mean, if you live your life pretty fully, it's just a little bit been there, done that. Like I don't need to do that again. And what else is new and rewarding and all of that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I personally feel, I thought to myself, what if I could go back to being a kid again in this life and do it over? But I have to know what I know now. But see, you don't know what you know now.
you don't know.
Because that's why God spares us, because some of the things we've done in the past could be really,
Right.
really affect us really bad. But I thought, I don't want to go back. I need a break. I feel like I need a break. I need to go someplace beautiful and just be peaceful and quiet, and you know, that's how I feel. And people say, oh no, you know, I don't want to leave this, I don't want to leave that. But sooner or later, get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I accept. I don't know. You know, God's going to take me. I believe when He feels
Right.
in His wisdom is the time to take me.
Well, you've already told Him when you want to go.
So,
We make
and
that
I'm
before.
sure I did
Yeah.
before I incarnated. Told Him that, and I do have a sense now that I just have a lot to do. So I think I would be very disappointed if my life ended. You know,
Right now.
while I was a human. Yeah, right now, because it's just. I look forward to the future, and I look forward to different things I want to accomplish. So, you know, and I guess I'll trust when that's,
Yeah, that's all you can do.
you know, when I've had enough, right?
Right, go about your life and do what you can and keep learning
Yeah.
and growing. And when the time comes,
Right.
you know, it'll be
Right.
fine. It'll be
Yeah.
fine. You know,
Yeah.
it just, you know, I don't know how to say this. Well, we think we know better. We think that life here on this planet is just fantastic. But we haven't. We don't remember
remember.
what came from and what's over there and
Right.
the different places you can go. People die; they think they went to heaven, and you know the ones that they can remember, you know, or they have an after-death experience where they left their body,
Always
and they
they
think they
wanna
went to
stay,
heaven.
yeah.
Well, they don't go to heaven because you have to be some angel to get back there that quick. But they go to a place that's somewhat like it. It's more beautiful than here, and they want to stay there. So if that wasn't even their heaven and it was so beautiful, can you imagine what it's like back home?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
I often think, you know, it's why babies behave like they do. You know, I think, you know, I think they're remembering.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
they do.
and they're experiencing this as like, this is harsh, even though they're just little babies and they can't communicate other than crying or smiling. But I think that they are remembering, you know, geez, what decision did I just make, you know, to come here? I do. I do
yeah.
think that, like, what decision did I make to come here? And I've got to live this 80-year life or 90-year life.
You think they
and
think that?
I do. I do. I think
don't
it's
know.
so
I never thought about that.
I think it's so fresh on their minds because their souls are fully formed. Their souls are like adults.
Yeah.
It's just they're a baby. But that soul is just bursting, you know, and I think because everything is so fresh from coming over and the veil is going down, but I don't think it's completely. And I think, yeah, I think they're remembering being on the other side,
Yeah.
you know.
Do you remember when you were a kid? Did you feel that way when you were a little kid?
I know I had experiences, you know what I mean? So I can't say I remembered, but who knows what we remembered? We're just, as humans, we forget. You know, things are shut off and we forget. So I'm not sure. Not sure. All right. Well, anyways, that's all I got. So let's see. Oh, I did talk about, do you think technology could develop if heaven really didn't think it was a good idea? You know, I'm not so sure, you know. I think things are always happening as a lesson to us.
Yeah.
You know, the cloning, I mean, I don't think it's a good idea. I can't imagine
No.
heaven's happy, but,
No, it's not.
you know, things we have to learn, and sometimes we have to learn the hard way, whether it be as a nation, as the world, as an individual.
See, scientists they usually don't believe in anything but this life. They believe in one life.
Right.
They don't believe in anything spiritual.
Right.
They always say, what's the missing link? The missing link. I always thought the missing link was our spirituality.
Yes.
The fact of who we are. But they don't have that.
Right.
All they want to do is create, create, create.
Right.
They haven't forgotten they want to be like gods, and that's how we got here in the first place, thinking like that. And people, I think the people who would want to do that, would want to live all that time, are people, like I said, who just don't have any beliefs in anything except this life.
Yeah.
I really do.
Right, right. Yeah.
All right.
All righty.
That done? Okay,
Yeah.
then we'll
we're
put
good.
the second part on, the anger trap. As soon as they get it up on the video, on the monitor.
Hi, I'm Hans Wilhelm. America has now become a country that is artificially and deeply divided into left and right political ideologies. I promise you this will not be a political video, but I want us to take a closer look at the one vital aspect that caused this split to happen. It is anger. Let me show you how contagious anger is and how it took over our country. I will be using the work of neuroscientists Dr. Andrew Newberg and Mark Robert Waldman that shows how angry thoughts and images can disturb the normal neural functioning of many parts of the brain. Why is it that watching violence in movies or in the news and listening to heated, angry debates make us feel more angry, aggressive, negative, and powerless? Here is a typical example. Imagine it's evening and we want to relax and watch some news on TV or on the computer. As usual, we select our favorite political talk or news channel, and within seconds we are sucked into the images and news. We are bombarded with issues that make us upset, hopeless, self-righteous, or uncomfortable. We haven't even noticed how quickly we became as angry, bitter and frustrated, just like the people we saw in the news, talk shows, or video channels. Now the adrenal is rushing in our blood and we are really pissed because of the negative news we just consumed. As a result, we may pick a fight with our spouse. Here she is, and then she gets angry and shouts at the kid, who then gets angry and kicks the dog, and so on. This is how quickly anger that we consciously have chosen to consume can infect our body and spread across our environment and even the whole country. Anger is highly contagious, but that is not all. Our anger is like lightning bolts shooting out from our aura. They can attract negative entities that feed on these kind of destructive energies, also called louche energy. I spoke about that in details in my videos on evil and on listening to your soul. We all have seen what can happen when people channel their anger into horrific acts of violence, like the shootings in a synagogue and mailing bombs to politicians. These perpetrators' own anger was supercharged by the anger and negativity they found in the media or internet. How is it possible that other people's anger can affect us so intensely and so quickly? Here is what Dr. Newberg and Dr. Waldman have to say. All you have to do is see a harsh, angry, or contemptuous face in a picture, and the same neural reaction will be triggered because the circuits involving the human amygdala are particularly responsive to expressions on other faces. And the stronger the expression, the stronger your emotional reaction will be. They point out that when we see an angry expression, it takes less than 1 second for our brain to respond with fear. Now, in life, we cannot totally avoid meeting angry people. They can be our boss, our neighbor, or any stranger in the street. But we can avoid watching or listening to negative or angry media shows, podcasts, talk shows, or videos. We always have the free choice. You see, it's not just serious negative news that has a destructive power over us. And the same thing happens in your brain when you listen to songs with hostile lyrics, even if they are presented in a humorous way. So even a strongly politically charged comedy show can in the end make us feel more angry, aggressive, negative, and powerless.
But anger is not only used to promote political issues. It is also one of the favorite tools in religious fundamentalism. For instance, we all are familiar with images of ISIS, but there are also fundamentalists in all other religions, where preachers speak of an angry God and spread anger from their pulpit. This results in religious and non-religious fundamentalists, especially men, appear to have higher levels of trait anxiety. In my video Listen to Your Soul, I've mentioned how our exposure to negative people, shows, movies and games is hazardous to our soul, our health, and also to society. If you are interested to read more about it, you may also want to check out the book by Dr. Newberg and Dr. Waldman that I used for this video. It is called How God Changes Your Brain.
We can ask ourselves, can we truly learn or gain anything from a news program, podcast, or video host who persistently uses anger to attract viewers and listeners? An angry person is not a wise person who reflects on issues. An angry person is not a competent or wise leader who carefully reflects on all options. An angry person is not somebody we want to be with. Remember, the virus that we call anger only takes less than 1 second to infect us if we choose aggressive videos, podcasts, or news. The choice is always ours. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you in my next video.
Okay,
Right.
the anger trap.
Yeah, I know, really. All right, so this was interesting. I wasn't sure quite how I felt about it. You know, lots of times, and I know this is what he wants us to do. It's what we profess on the show as well, is for people to just discern, you know, what do they think, you know, and it's so I do love that he brings up the whole thing about anger, but he says we're divided politically for one reason, anger, and it's very contagious, and it's I started thinking about that because he brought in politics. It's like, what's really stirring the anger? You know, people didn't wake up after the last election in 2016 and were angry. You know, it got stirred. You know, something's been created, you know, and it's been going on for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, so it's like, what's doing the stirring? You know,
Okay.
people may have woken up the day after the election and been disappointed, been shocked, been
That's
a lot
happened
of
before,
things.
but
not anger.
like this now.
And this anger is different. I feel like he's got two different topics here. The anger politically is different from everyday anger. Mm-hmm. You know, what's going on now is, it's more than anger, it's
You're right.
hatred, it's I'm going to destroy you if you don't agree with me.
Right,
you
you're
know,
right.
if you think, this is, as a spiritual teacher, I find it scary what's going on, because it's, if you don't, you know, think like I think, and say what I say and do what I do, I'm going to destroy you. I hate you that much.
I know.
That's not anger.
No, that's
you know,
beyond that.
That's beyond anger.
I know.
And when we talk about what's going on with some things in politics, and I agree, the media stirs it up, social media stirs it up, celebrities stir it up, you know, but so it got me thinking back to the episode that I really loved that Hans did, was on the Luciferian doctrine, and we did this on this program.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we watched his episode on Luciferian doctrine, and I have to say that episode, and if people haven't seen it, please go and Google it on YouTube, the Luciferian doctrine. That episode changed my life completely, because I just don't look at the world, the nation, politicians in the same way anymore.
Give the audience a little, just a couple of little tidbits from that show that
Just
impressed
how
you,
he-
so that the kind of what
Well,
we're talking about.
You know, he brought up, I mean, it goes back generations where secret societies formed, and really there's an evil base to them, and it's almost like the underbelly of what goes on until present day, and demon and evil, Lucifer are really always trying to win, right? It's really, I've been doing some research on it. It's really about eliminating God. Like Luciferian doctrine, evil, one world order, which he brought up in it, or New World Order, or globalism as they're calling it now. It is about eliminating God. Just have one government, and this government will tell you how to think, how to feel, how to act, what you can do. It will completely run your life. You don't have family, you don't have friends, you don't have spirituality, and that's what concerned us, is that they're going to tell you what your spirituality is. So it's like, what is that evil? You know, there's anger. Anger is, you are cutting people off on the highway, you're rude to somebody, that's anger, maybe to the point of getting violent. But this is hate.
I know.
This is
You're
really,
right.
This is hate. This
You're
is
right.
really different than anger.
Well, there's many reasons that I can come up with, but the bottom line is what you just said. He has taken over this planet.
Yes.
Because he can't change us. In other words, did we talk about the revolution? I mean, what she wanted to do, how she wanted to destroy us and all that. Okay, so he knows he lost that battle when Christ died on the cross and gave us his spark.
Right.
So we cannot ever go back into the ether and have a new creation. We are forever eternal. So what is it going to do? Keep us here on this planet. Keep us angry. Keep us committing sins, so to speak.
Building karma.
I call it, building karma. I call it keep doing the wrong thing so that, you don't think about you want to go home or anything else.
Right.
And he does this through people in power. People who have the power to get out there and open their mouth and talk to you and tell you all these different things, okay? And I think that what started it was that, and he used this, is that when Obama was president, he gave a lot of things to the poor people and a lot of people got used to it. They didn't have to work for what they wanted so much anymore. There's a lot of handouts, a lot of those things going on, And people, when he came in as president, he said all the things that he was going to do, and he did them. And the people that voted for him were very happy, but the other people were not.
Right. Not everybody's angry.
No. They want to keep it going, and they thought if Hillary got in, they would. Okay. So I don't want to get into politics, but I'm saying that a lot of it was kept going by the Democratic people who want to get back in power. I've never seen such, I'm going to get you back. Even when you're a kid, you do these things.
Right.
But now it's like, from childish, it's just turned into evil.
It's turned into
because
evil.
all they're doing is bad mouthing, and because the press has such freedom, right? And because people now think they can speak out, and because people think that what the celebrities say is law or that should apply, they're just people like us.
Right.
All these things are adding up all the time, and Demon is appealing to our egos with all of this, saying, "Hey, you can say what you want. You can do what you want. You can get out there. They don't like it. You can slap them in the face." And he's taking all the... And you notice that they're taking God out of this.
Taking God out of everything.
Everything. Out of everything. The only thing that's left is that it's on the money. And I'm wondering when that's going to come off.
Right.
It says, "In God we trust."
Right.
I wonder when that's going to come off,
Right.
They're taking it out of the schools.
Right.
And now they're taking statues down and pictures down. And
no, it's like I said, that episode on the Luciferian doctrine just... it's, I don't know, like the Matrix, the red pill. I mean, like you can't go back,
Right.
And it just opened my eyes, and it doesn't matter which party you affiliate with. Like, so many people are in on it, in terms of really dominating. I mean, I think that's the scary thing spiritually, is that we're going to lose freedom to think and be who we truly are, not who someone's telling us to be.
Yeah.
And that's what's frightening to me.
And they're not even seeing that the president is not doing that kind of thing. He's not trying to tell us what to do, or he's trying to fix things. And the other party just keeps breaking those things down. And so,
I think both parties, they're breaking it down, because it's not like he has huge support in his own party.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he doesn't know
that's
because
where
they're doing it too.
I think this whole deep state and this whole Luciferian doctrine and the globalism and all of that, it's both parties involved. I mean, you can sort of tell now who's for one world order and who isn't by the way they speak.
I know.
On the so, anyways, I didn't want to totally go down that road, but I think the importance. I mean, I think anger is a good tool. Anger in the moment tells you something's off. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, I just got angry at you about something. It's a tool. We're not supposed to live in anger, and I think that's his point.
But you know what Spirit says about anger, right?
What?
When somebody makes you angry, because it's something what they said resonates in you.
It's resonating with you.
So you're got a part of that in yourself. If you're angry, if the person you're talking to gets you angry, it's like holding up a mirror. Why am I angry? What resonates? What tripped me off?
Right.
What in me is like that person who just told me? What do I have to look at here to see why I'm angry? That's what they're supposed to do.
Right. That's the reflection.
But people don't do that now.
Whether you're angry, whether you're sad, whether you're jealous, whether why? Why did I just become jealous of that? Why did I just become angry over that?
Right.
We're supposed to reflect on it and not stay in it.
Exactly.
And people are staying in it, wanting to stay angry.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And that's because of that, like you said, the demon state and what he's pushing on us more and more and more.
More and more. So
and these people who
it's like, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Be independent. Go down the spiritual path and don't think like that. Don't think the way you want to think, but make sure it's your thought. That's the difference. Make sure it's your thought. You don't have to think like I think, like you think, but make sure it's your own thought that you believe in.
And when did anyone ever said you're supposed to force your will on someone? On the contrary, you're never supposed to force your will.
You don't
like when we do the show, we say this is just food for thought.
Food for thought.
Think
all the
about
time.
it. We're not saying you got to do this.
We're not
you got to
saying
do that. If you don't do it this way, you do it my way.
There's
you're
something
wrong.
with you.
Yeah,
right.
when somebody says that to you, run away. Run as fast as you can.
Run as fast as you can.
Because God gave us free will, and no human is supposed to take it away from us.
No, don't give it up.
Not anyone at all. But God unites, the devil separates. The devil's motto is divide, bind, and conquer.
I know.
And that's what he's doing
said
now.
That.
And they have no idea. The people have no idea.
The division has been going on for at least a decade, And, the binding is getting you dependent. You know what I mean? Let the government do everything for you. The government becomes your family. The government's going to do everything for you. And then conquer.
See, they're trying to do that.
You have no choices.
They're trying to have the government. They want the government to do everything for you.
Right. Because the more somebody or something does for you, the less freedom you have.
Right. And one of the parties wants to do everything to win the people over because they know that that's what they want. So they're I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that, I'm going to give you, just like if I want to make you my friend, I'm going to give you lollipops and candy, I'm going to take you to dinner, I'm going to do this. It's the same thing, but people are not looking at that.
No.
They're so totally confused today. People are really confused. They can't think for themselves. And a lot of it is that.
Right.
Okay? And the things that are going on. And then there's all these killings.
Right.
People don't care. They're killing all over the world.
Yeah.
We're concerned what happens here, but what's happening all over the world? There are brothers and sisters there too. And that's all wrong. Okay? And people are asleep. They're asleep under his spell.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, let's see. I think it is a good point that he's making too. That especially with the climate that's out there, to just not listen to things too much, no matter who you voted for. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just be careful if all of a sudden, notice the triggers. If all of a sudden you're kind of listening to the news a little too long because you find yourself getting a little hyper, it's like time to turn.
Tell me about it.
Time to turn it off, right? Time to stop reading it. I noticed that, and he's right. Like it's kind of like your heartbeat increases and the adrenaline starts rushing, and it's like this isn't excitement, real good happy things.
No.
This is negativity. So it's like just turn it off, you know.
And these news shows on the internet, that's all I don't watch it on TV. I read it on the computer so I can just read what I want.
Yes.
But they all have comment sections. And I look at the comments to see how people are thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that can really send you.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you're right. I start feeling myself getting stirred up and wanting to say something and tell somebody off. And that's all I said. All of a sudden I said, stop. Don't even.
That's lower energy. It's
I
like,
skim through the headlines.
there.
Anything I should know? No, I don't have to know this. I don't have to know that.
Right.
Forget it.
Then I don't have to write.
And they're right. Don't look at the news anymore. Don't read the
You
news
know?
anymore. Just see if there's anything important that you should know about.
Right.
But not who's fighting who and who's doing this to who and who is saying this
Right.
and who is saying.
Listen to the angry, bickering kind of words. Even if it's the news channel you lean towards, it's like, it doesn't matter which one it is. It's just, it becomes broken record. And it's like, just don't listen to the broken record. Pick up your news and just done.
You know how they manipulate too? I would just read quickly that Cory Booker, one of the says if he's elected, he's going to have all women with him in his cabinet.
Yeah.
I had to laugh at that.
Yeah.
You see how they play onto feelings now. All of a sudden, women are their rights now, and they're coming out of the closet saying, "This one touched me, that one touched you." See what I mean? They appeal to those things.
Right.
And women think, oh, well, now I'm
going to be represented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they'll go for whatever. That's how he does it. That's how.
Even though he has a very questionable past himself with women. But,
I know.
But yeah, I know.
I mean, women used to be so feminine. What's feminine now? There's no feminine. Sex, is it? That's sexy. Not feminine. Sexy has replaced feminine. You know?
Right.
Sweet and feminine and nice, no more.
Right.
See, it's gotten worse and worse and worse.
And strong. I often wonder, when did women get so fragile? I mean, I've always thought of women as being strong.
Yeah.
But in
Silently strong.
But in recent years, it's like, well, we can do better than this. I mean, when did we get so fragile? I just don't even, I don't understand it.
I know.
I'm confused.
It's
we can stand up for ourselves. We don't need somebody speaking for us. We can, I don't know. There's just something, but like I said, watching that Luciferian doctrine it's got me researching and looking into different things and the Georgia Guidestones and all of that, and it's just, oh my goodness. I don't want to fall prey to it. I don't even want to belong to a party. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to, but it does concern me for our future of mankind.
I think in one of the shows we should talk about those Georgia Guidestones, and we should read it slowly to our audience and see what it says, and then they can read it for themselves.
Right. I'd like to do some more research on that, because the idea of telling us what to think is just so disturbing to me.
And see, it's like he seeps in through the cracks.
He's there.
Yeah.
I never noticed how often politicians talk about one world order. I mean, there's tapes going back to Bush Sr. talking about one world order. So it doesn't mean it's just the Democrats. I mean, it's Republicans too.
Oh, it's everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So all this one world order, and it's like, how did I miss this? How did I saw, it was last fall, and it was broadcasted at a news conference, Jerry Brown, in California. He actually says we have to stop Trump because he's getting in the way of the New World Order. And I thought, what's the New World Order? Back then, this is before we did Luciferian, I thought, what's the New World Order? And then I started looking into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope somebody stops this. This is terrible. This is really awful.
See, that's another reason why they're going after him,
Yeah.
Once he's gone, God knows what will happen, People think it'll be great, but it won't.
It's not kumbaya, let's teach the world to sing. That's not what one world order is.
No.
I mean, that's what they make it sound like, but that's not what it is.
It's you do what I say or else.
Or else.
Imprisonment,
and
whatever, what's going to happen to you.
If we decide you don't eat today, you don't eat today.
That's
it. And it's just all rights taken away. Anyways, all right, so I know. So interesting, though, the effect all of this has on our brain. And I thought it was super interesting. He said the effect anger has on our auras. What does that mean? Like, what does that look like?
When our aura is what's always around everyone. And
it's our energy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's color. It's colored, whatever. The color tells you, someone who can read auras could see them. I've seen them from time to time. You have to be aligned to see them. They tell people what you're feeling. The different colors go along with how you're feeling. And I would say everybody's aura is pretty muddy right now. You know, someone saw Al Capone's aura at one time and said it was a really dark brown. That's not good at all, because as you can probably think, the lighter colors are much better. They really do mean that you're in a better mood. So the anger comes out of us. And then you have those dark spirits who feed on that.
So you're attracting.
Yeah, you're attracting them, and then they're telling
negativity. Get angry
Carla,
again. Get more angry.
Don't let them say that to you. You don't want to think. You believe that. You don't believe that. And then they have that, what they call that loosh energy that he talked about.
What is that? That was one of my questions. What's
that's
loosh?
That anger. That's that negative anger feelings that come out of us, and the dark spirits kind of like a straw. Suck it. Makes them feel good, because that's what feeds them.
Okay.
All right. Someday they're all going to go back too. When they're going to wake up, but they're right now at the worst of.
So they're loving this. They're loving all this.
Oh, they love it.
All this
and they're egging
and
it on.
Hatred and all of this. They're egging it on. Yeah.
And people don't realize this. See, keep them in the dark. Keep them in the dark. And when you don't realize it, you can't do anything about it. You won't do anything about it. Oh, that's not true. Nah, I don't believe that. You know.
Right.
And that's how we get where we get.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just. If you just think that when you're angry, when you do terrible things, when you're doing awful things, you're feeding them. They're getting happier and happier.
Negative entities.
Yeah, the negative entities you're feeding them, and they're going to follow you everywhere, and they're going to keep egging you on.
Yeah.
You know, people should stop and think. I just got this thought. Think about when these negative thoughts come into your mind. Were they actually from you, or did they just pop in there? Think about that next time you get one. How did that negative thought get into my head? Think about it.
Yeah.
A lot of them are planted.
And have you ever caught yourself like, okay, why did I just get so angry? Like, this wasn't something to get that angry about.
Right.
Like, what happened here to me? You know, and you have to wonder, like, did something come near you? Or, you know, and it's like, you know, kind of, you know, they say the angel whispers in this ear and the devil whispers in this. Like, is something whispering in your ear? Like,
going into your
she
thoughts.
Can't do that to you. You say something, you get back at her. You do that, you know, and it's, is that what happens?
That's right.
It's just the vibrations.
That's right. I mean, some people are going to have to wake up and start realizing that this is true.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going to happen. One day it'll be too late.
Okay.
So anyway, we're almost done.
Yeah, and you know, he says that the perpetrators, like when we have school shootings, when people are bombing, their anger is supercharged. But I do think it's more than that. I think there's an imbalance somewhere. I mean,
there is.
You know.
All right, we have to end this. We'll tack some of this onto the next show, and we'll talk about the Luciferian doctrine, and I mean not the Luciferian, the Georgia Guidestones,
the
and
Georgia
all that.
Guidestones.
Okay,
let's do that.
All right, so we have to stop now, folks. I hope that we've helped you, and I hope that you'll be aware. Okay, we're going to give our contact information. For me, Healing Outside the Box, Rosemary LaChance. Phone is 203-627-7966. My email is whitebuffalo8@comcast.net. My website, www.rosemarylachance.com. And that most important website, www.gabrielle-publishing-house.com. And Georgia? Georgia, Carla.
Georgia Guidestones. Okay, so you can contact me on my website at www.carlaaugustin.com. Also, please watch my show on YouTube. It's called Spiritual Invitation. And when you go on YouTube, you just type in the search my name, Carla Augustin, and all the shows will come up.
So please watch our shows on YouTube. All the best shows we've done. There's 228. Okay? So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hand. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far